But Brandon, it is time to, and you know what? I say this like it's getting old at this point. I say it every week. It's time to end the podcast. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, we are ending the podcast. If you're on YouTube, hey guys, this is the first time we're seeing you this week for this video coming out on Wednesday, I believe, as it'll come out in normal time for the onside kick. Making our picks this week for the NFL. And Brandon, how we do? We just run through the games. We let them know who we're going to pick, who's going to win, who's going to lose. A little bit of why in between. Now let's get started with the Thursday night game. New England Patriots, worst defense they've had statistically. Could be the worst defense statistically in the NFL. Coming off of a loss, I believe, to the Carolina Panthers. Buccaneers 2-1. Who do you got? The visiting Patriots or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home? Line is New England 5.5.
I'm going to take the New England Patriots going on the road to Tampa Bay. New England's got to be pretty upset after this last loss. Now their second loss on the season already to the Carolina Panthers, who did play very, very well. But the Patriots were in that game. They're going to go on the road here to Tampa Bay. And I think that Tom Brady is going to be able to get things going with the guys. They need to find a little bit more of a running game. And I think they'll be able to beat Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay was... we saw what they were able to do a couple of weeks back against the Bears. New England's defense has been really shaky. Jameis Winston could tear them to shreds.
The last time New England lost back-to-back games in the Tom Brady era, 2015, when they lost Week 16 to the Jets in overtime, and then lost that next week to Miami. I do not think it happens again. I think the Patriots win this game. However, could be a close one because we know, like, the thing is, Jameis likes to turn the ball over, and New England, however, doesn't have a tough enough defense. However, like I told you before we started recording this segment, is Tom Brady showed, especially in that Texan game, when he wants to turn it on, he'll drag this team kicking and screaming through the mud to get wins if he has to. Then we're doing the Sunday games. The first one, the 3-1 Bills playing the 1-3 Bengals. I'm going to go with the Bills in this one. Although the Bengals at home are a 3-point favorite, hitting that upset special button, and I am picking the Bills to go to 4-1 and stay on top in the AFC East.
I'm also going to go with the Buffalo Bills in this one.
Hit that button, B.
They got a really nice win on the road at Atlanta this past week. Cincinnati has definitely looked better. They looked really good last week. They played Cleveland in Cleveland. But I think Buffalo, with the guys that they have now, remember Jordan Matthews is going to be out for a little bit, expected to miss a month. But the defense of Buffalo, I think, is going to give some fits to Andy Dalton. Buffalo gets the win.
Then our next one, the New York Jets, 2-2, already way past my prediction of 0-16. Jet fans will not let me stop hearing about it. They're going up against the 0-4 Browns, and the Browns are 2-point favorites, Brandon. However, I always pick the Browns, and the Browns have not yet let me win a game. So, although it pains me to say, I'm going to hit the upset button yet again, and I'm going upset special. Jets on the road get the win in Cleveland.
I'm also going to go with the New York Jets. They look like a team that isn't all that bad. I think that people are going to say, well, you beat the Dolphins, who don't look good, and you beat the Jaguars, but the Jaguars actually
could have won that
game and haven't looked bad
just handed off to Fournette.
So far to start this season. The Cleveland Browns offensively have not figured anything out yet, and Deshaun Kaiser has thrown a lot of interceptions. Hogan has come in behind him. Is that his name? Isn't it like not Kevin Hogan? The backup quarterback for Cleveland. Yeah, because Chris Hogan's the one that plays for the
Chris
Patriots.
Hogan's for the Patriots.
So Kevin Hogan,
Kevin Hogan used to be a Bear too. Don't forget that. Used to be a Bear, as I forgot to mute my computer.
So he's now come in a mop-up backup role for the last couple of games. The running game has been awful for Cleveland. New York's defense, I think, is going to end up being stout against them, getting a couple of interceptions. New York gets the win.
Well, and then our next game, we've got the 3-1 Panthers getting a huge win over the Patriots, going up against the 3-1 Lions in Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. The Lions are 3-point favorites, and I'm going to go right along with that. I think the Lions improved to 4-0. and continue their kind of dominance at the top of the NFC North.
Now.
Well, 4-1. That's what I meant. 4-1. Forgot about that one loss there. But they go to 4 wins and they stay atop the NFC North.
Yeah, Detroit's defense has actually been sneaky good so far this season.
And they injure running backs, but we're not going to talk about that.
Their offense has also been pretty good. No touchdowns for Matt Stafford this past week, but they won the game.
Yeah.
14-7. If you're able to be in a dogfight like that and you win a game 14-7, that's a really good thing. Your defense kept you in it. And for Detroit, they're really happy about that. Carolina, big week last week, but they're going to lose to Detroit this week. Detroit at home. I've got them.
Next game, and this one, I'll be honest, is not one that excites me and gets me up. We've got the 0-4 49ers, the 1-3 Colts. Colts are a 1.5 point favorite, and I'm just going to pick the tie. I'm just going to pick the tie. But if I have to pick one, I guess I'll go with the Colts at home. How about you?
You're really going to pick the tie? No, I'm kidding.
No, I'll go Colts.
No, I'm going to go Colts at home as well. San Francisco, actually, though, did look competitive against the Cardinals on the road at the Cardinals in Arizona.
So they can only play competitively against their own division because they played competitively against the Rams as well.
They go on the road now to Indy, and Jacoby Brissett looked good last week at times. He did play against a tough Seattle defense. When is Andrew Luck coming back? Not sure. The Colts are at home. San Francisco comes in. I think that Indianapolis will get the win.
Then our next one, the Titans at 2-2, the Dolphins at 1-2. Marcus Mariota, technically day-to-day as we were recording this on Monday. Brandon, there is no line on ESPN for this game right now here on Monday. Straight pick 'em. Who do you got, Titans or Dolphins?
I've got to go Tennessee. The Dolphins have looked so lifeless in the last couple of games. Tennessee looked really bad in this past week, but I think they're going to really get things together and get things going on the road in Miami.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Titans as well. Part of me wanted to go with Jay Cutler, go with the upset here, but I'm going to go with the Titans to get the win on the road in Miami. Then we've got the 0-4 Bowl, as it's going to be the LA Chargers and the New York Giants in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Giants are 3.5 point favorites. The Giants, though, kind of feel sorry for them. Last 2 games, they lose it on last-second field goals or field goals that were game winners for the other team. Do the Giants get the first win of the season, or is it the Chargers that get that numero uno?
I'm going to go with upset alert. I'm going to say that the Chargers go into New York and get the win. The Giants' defense, which everyone thought,
was going to be phenomenal.
Me being included, was going to be this really, really good defense. That defense that they had paid so much money for, a year before, and they were trying to continue to stack it. They've got a couple of injuries. Eli Apple has been a guy that people have continued to go after because he has struggled so far this season in the secondary. Los Angeles has a lot of weapons. And the Giants just, quite honestly, won't be able to handle all of them. Los Angeles in this one.
I'm going to go and hit that button also. I was going to pick the Chargers against the Giants. Giants go to 0-5. Keep the kiss of death alive. Then we've got the Bird Bowl, as we've got the 2-2 Cardinals, the 3-1 Eagles. Eagles listed as a 6.5 point favorite. Now I'm going to follow that. I think the Eagles go 4-1 behind the arm of Carson Wentz to beat the Cardinals.
I'm going to do the same thing, and the Eagles' defense has actually looked pretty good this season.
People right now are probably thinking, man, you guys are boring, picking the same games, picking the same winners. I don't think we've differed on one yet. Brandon.
New England, Buffalo, New York, Detroit, Indy, Tennessee, LA, and Philly. You picked all those same ones?
Pretty much. Wait, who did you pick for the Jets-Browns?
I picked New York.
Yeah, I picked New York as well. So, yeah, we've picked all the same ones so far.
We suck.
There's going to be one where we'll differ, and I think this next one is it. We've got the 2-2 Jaguars, the 3-1 Steelers. Steelers are 8.5 point favorites. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Steelers at home.
We differ. Yay!
I'm going to go with the Steelers at home in this one. They looked really good against the Baltimore Ravens this past week, and finally, they got things going with Le'Veon Bell on the ground. 35 carries, 144 yards, and then a couple of touchdowns for him. I thought things looked really good. Jacksonville, they looked really good against the Ravens, and then they came and they kind of laid an egg against the New York Jets.
You know why, right? You know why that happened, right?
No.
Week number 4, is that odd or even?
That's
It's an
even.
even number. The Jaguars can only play well in odd weeks. That's why I'm picking the Jaguars. Week 1, they play phenomenally against the Houston Texans. Week 3, they play phenomenally against the Baltimore Ravens. I know this one's on the road, but it's an odd week. Blake Bortles, 5 touchdowns. Jaguars defense gets like 37 fantasy points, and they beat the Steelers. That's just how this team works. They play really well on the odd weeks, and they kind of fall asleep on the even weeks.
Okay.
It's catching the trends.
Next game.
You got to see those trends, Brandon. But next one, we've got the Ravens and the Raiders. The Raiders without Derek Carr. We talked about that earlier in the podcast. This one does not have a line here on ESPN right now on Monday. Straight pick 'em. Who you got, Ravens or Raiders?
I'm actually going to go with the home team here. I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders.
Differ yet again?
No Derek Carr. Baltimore's defense in the first couple of weeks looked pretty good.
Yep.
Last couple of weeks, not good. They really didn't enjoy going to London, and they haven't been good since being back. I'm going to say that Oakland, even with E.J. Manuel leading things, are going to be good. Now, think about this. If they can get Marshawn Lynch going against Baltimore and do what Le'Veon Bell did, Oakland can win this game.
And see, that's the main thing I think that Oakland will not do. They're going to be stubborn with it. They're not going to get Marshawn Lynch going. E.J. Manuel won't be able to get any footing under him. The Ravens will win this game, and the Raider fans will panic a little bit with Derek Carr missing the next game next week. We'll move on to the next one, 3:05 Central Time start. The 2-2 Seahawks, the 3-1 Rams. Who do you got? The Rams, 2.5-point favorites.
I'm going to go with the home team, the Los Angeles Rams, in this one.
Too.
They had a great game last week against Dallas. I had picked Dallas in that one because Dallas was the home team. Thought it was going to be a close game, but the Rams played so well. Defensively, Wade Phillips and his defense looked really good. And the Rams have been sneaky good in these Seattle matchups the last couple of years. So don't be surprised if the Rams play a really good game at home and Seattle falters.
2 reasons I'm picking the Rams. Number 1, they usually take the first meeting, especially at home, against the Seahawks. Number 2, this Rams team has looked really good this year. They're 3-1. If they go to 4-1 here, they push Seattle to 2-3. That is now a 2-game lead on Seattle in the division, and they just widen that gap to potentially win the NFC West this year. Then the big one you mentioned, the Cowboys. They got the Packers coming to town, 3-1 Green Bay, 2-2 Dallas. Dallas is a 2-point favorite. However, Brandon, hitting the upset button, go Pack go. The Packers get the win on the road, just like they did last year in the playoffs, to beat Dak and the boys.
Yeah, so here's the thing is that Dallas has not necessarily looked themselves the last couple of weeks. Green Bay coming off that big win against Chicago, they go into Dallas, and I think they get the win in Dallas, in Jerry World. And that's going to have everyone going, what's wrong with the Cowboys? Tony Romo, do you want to come back? No, I mean,
he likes broadcasting,
and he's great at it. I think Dallas does fall to 2-3.
And right now, the next game will be affected by, like I said, we're recording this on Monday this week because of scheduling issues. However, it's coming out on Wednesday for you. The Chiefs 3-0 right now. However, that could change. It's a tie game as we're recording this on Monday night. The Texans 2-2. Chiefs right now are 1-point favorites here on Monday. Who do you got?
The Houston Texans just went off. The entire team. Offense, defense, everyone went off. They look great. Kansas City Chiefs going on the road to Houston. That's going to be tough because it's going to be on the road. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they've got themselves a very, very good offense. They've got themselves a good defense. I think they're going to make things a little tough for the rookie and Deshaun Watson, who's very, very good. He's very smart. But the Kansas City Chiefs make things tough. It's a close game. Chiefs will win by a field goal.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs win this game. And what'll be interesting to see is what we see from Deshaun Watson. Do we see what we saw last week? Or do we see that guy who kind of holds the ball out away from his body and that Chief defense just swats that ball away and we get some fumbles? I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the defense here. I'm going to go with Alex Smith, the more experienced quarterback also, and the weapons that KC has. Then Monday night, we talked about this game a little bit earlier in the podcast. We've got the 2-2 Vikings heading into Chicago to play the 1-3 Bears. The Bears are starting the GOAT, as Mark would say, and the kisser of titties, Mitch Trubisky. Who gets the win here? No line on ESPN as of right now. who gets the win in a straight pick'em, Vikings, Bears.
So you almost start with an edge for the Chicago Bears because they're going to be playing at home in front of a home crowd with a new quarterback, with a quarterback that almost everyone wants to see. And that's going to be really, really good. A lot of energy there in the stadium at Chicago at Soldier Field. Minnesota comes in. They just lost a tough one, 14-7. They lost their running back, the guy that they really wanted. This defense, though, from Minnesota, I think is going to cause some problems for Mitchell Trubisky, who I think is going to throw an interception late that will seal it for Minnesota. Minnesota gets a win, but it won't be by much. I think the Chicago Bears will be in this game. No Dalvin Cook. They're going to probably go Latavius Murray, a healthy dose of him. The Chicago Bears defense has not looked too bad this season. They've actually looked much better. The offensive line has looked better. They're going to give Trubisky some chances, but he's still a young guy. I don't think he gets a win in his first start in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same thing. I think 2 touchdowns for Stephon Diggs, 1 touchdown for Latavius Murray. Vikings win this one 24-10. I think Trubisky will get a touchdown, but only get 10 points for the Bears in a losing effort in his first game as a Chicago Bear, and the Trubisky starts his career off with a loss. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know who you guys are picking down below in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, let us know. Also, stick around all week. We'll have the rest of our topics for you if we're on Blog Talk Radio. Thank you guys for listening for the entire podcast. Let us know what you guys think down below as well. I want to thank you guys for watching and or listening to the Primetime Podcast this week. And as always, have a good day, everybody.